California, homeless, problem, intractable, unsolvable. Wrong. All it takes is a little out-of-the-box thinking, and I'm your out-of-the-box thinker. The homeless population is growing, and it is a huge burden around the United States, and especially in the Golden State of California. It's only called the Golden State because gold was discovered there in 1849. It is no longer the Golden State. It is a trash state because all you find whenever you go around a homeless encampment is their trash, their feces, and the festering rats. This is a huge problem. One of the ways that the woke Council of Los Angeles and mayor are trying to deal with it is to create homeless shelters, apartments at $530,000 a unit. Far more than a 4-bedroom house that you can purchase in Las Vegas with a sizable lot. Seems like a waste of money when people are struggling to be able to afford anything on their own, and you're spending that much of taxpayer money on housing for a single homeless person. Meanwhile, while they are getting this done, the homeless are continuing to make the city as a problem, as I mentioned with the trash, defecating onto the street, screaming at people as they walk by, in some cases attacking them, starting fires that may or may not have spread and become major destructive forces. They are taking away from the beauty of the cities and the citizens' safety. So, leave it to me to come up with a solution. You see, rather than spending the $530,000 per unit in Los Angeles, why not build something in the cheap lands of the Mojave Desert, where you can purchase a whole tract, several acres of land, and then build hospitals there. People don't want them in their backyard. NIMBY, not in my backyard crowd, are not going to object when Los Angeles, as a city, rather than the millions and millions and millions of dollars spent to create housing for literally 10 homeless people, spends the same amount to shelter thousands of them out in the Mojave Desert. And then you just build little houses and you pay the psychologists and the doctors and the nurses well to get out there and to service them. You can send them food. It will be far cheaper than the cost of keeping them languishing on the streets. And they might be able to get help. So maybe they'll be able to be rehabilitated, come back, you have some temporary apartments set up for them, not the $530,000 one, but one that is paid for in part of the city where maybe there's a job available for them. But you have in the ocean of the desert, they're not going to be coming back to Los Angeles very easily, especially if it's one way in on the bus and no way out unless they pass certain criteria, which would be made passable so long as there's a chance that they could come back to LA, to the rest of California, or wherever you have these things in the nation, and be able to contribute. And a lot of you lefties out there are saying, won't it be violative of their civil rights if we just pack them onto the bus and send them there? No. First of all, to answer your question, I want to point out the hypocrisy in terms of the fact that civil rights for you mean whatever they want, because you don't really respect the liberty of the individual. You are all for the First Amendment if it's Black Lives Matter expressing themselves and marching in the street during the pandemic. But when the Jews try to have a congregation in New York City, de Blasio goes out of his way to shut them down. Of course, maybe that's a result of the anti-Semitism which exists on the left, but nevertheless, don't tell me about civil liberties. But because I am a classical liberal and I do believe in the liberty of the individual, we would bribe them to get on the bus and sign a piece of paper stating that they will be taken care of. It will be a benefit for them. And what do we bribe them with? A 6-pack of Budweiser. That would be enough to get most of them on the bus into what would hopefully be a warm bed where they would be taken care of and fed. And it would be at a fraction of the cost of what it would be to house them within the city limits. And if they are out on the street, they are costing the city far more money in terms of the destruction and the filth that is created and the lower property values, etc., etc. And if you think that my plan won't work, if you think that there's no way that they would get onto the bus for a 6-pack of Budweiser, okay, maybe you're right. Let's upgrade that bribe to a 12-pack of Heineken. If you think that my theory has some validity, leave a comment below. Subscribe, hit the all notification bell, and have a fantastic day. Don't take life too seriously. But what's wrong with my plan? You guys think about it. At least it's out of the box. Maybe there's a way that we can solve this problem that would be mutually beneficial for all. Peace out.